Welcome back to Winning Isn't Easy. Should I tell my doctor that I'm having good days and bad days after my ERISA disability claim is accepted? Well, the answer is yes. We always want to be truthful with your physician. But you need to remember that just because a disability carrier plan has accepted your claim doesn't mean that they're going to continue to pay your benefits. Each month is considered a new claim, and you have the burden each month to establish that you're unable to do your own occupation or any occupation. So how do we go about addressing the issue of, good days and bad days? And how do we balance that with your obligation to get medical care if you're having, good days and bad days? Please remember that under the terms of the disability policy or plan, you have an obligation to get medical care that's reasonable and appropriate. And they're going to be looking at your medical records, measuring, 1, are you getting treatment? 2, what's the nature of that treatment? 3, is that treatment consistent with the level of dysfunction that you are claiming? And they're always, of course, going to be looking for a reason to deny a claim, including the argument that you're not as disabled as you say you are because there's been medical improvement. Now, in my view, there's a difference between quote unquote improvement and good days and bad days. Once again, your medical records can make or break your claim. You might have a medical condition that results in you having good days and bad days, but it's important that you're explaining to your doctor what a good day looks like and what a bad day looks like. You might be able on a good day to go grocery shopping or to maybe attend your children's, softball game. But the next day, you might not be able to get out of bed, or you have to increase your pain medication. So what we have to do is to explain what the price is that you're paying for having a good day. So on a good day, I can do this, and it's followed by a bad day, and this is what happens to me on a bad day, and this is how it impacts my functionality. Let's say, for example, you've got a migraine that lasts all day, and the next day you're feeling better. The next day you're feeling even better. So the next day, the third day out, you go grocery shopping. But the lights in the grocery store trigger another headache. You want to be explaining this type of episode. I think it's really important that you give a really good interval history at each doctor's visit about your symptoms, how those symptoms have impact your ability to function, and what a good day and a bad day looks like. Now, let's contrast that with improvement. To me, the word improvement is like the word fine. When your kids come home from school and you ask them how their day was, they say fine. Well, fine doesn't mean anything, and improvement doesn't mean anything. Better doesn't mean anything. You've got to define these terms in terms of your functionality and your symptoms. So it might be that you're improving because your pain has gone from a 10 to an 8, or that you can stand at the kitchen sink for 30 minutes as opposed to 50 minutes and then only have to rest 10 minutes. It might be that you're able to cook a light meal while you're alternating sitting and standing, or you might be able to run a grocery, do a grocery run to run in and get some milk because you feel like you're improving. You need to paint a picture of that quote unquote improvement with your words in the medical records. And that's why I like to have my clients fill out a symptoms and functionality sheet to give to the doctor between doctor visits. So you're keeping this kind of log. It's not a blow by blow. This is what I did, but it documents the highs, the lows, maybe improvement. But it's defining that in terms of symptoms and functionality. You also should be quantifying good days and bad days. If you only have like one good day, then that's one issue. But if you got 7 good days and you're not defining what good days mean, the disability carrier plan will most likely deny your claim. Now, on the other hand, if you only have bad days and horribler days, if that's even a word, the disability carrier may think that you're exaggerating. So we want to be straight up honest about your good days and your bad days and explain it in terms of symptoms and functionality. Now, again, as you're explaining that, one of the most important things I think is, are those good days predictable? Are your bad days predictable? And that's important because the lack of predictability can impact your ability to go to work, stay at work, or meet the pace and production requirements. So telling your story in your medical records about your good days and bad days and quote unquote improvement can make or break your disability claim. And it can make the difference between whether or not you get your benefits, but also whether you keep those benefits. You need to document your compliance with your medical care, the side effects of medication, good days, bad days, improvement, and do that again in the form of a story about your symptoms and your functionality. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We've covered a lot of material in regard to the medical issues that you can see in an ERISA disability claim and that interaction with a Social Security disability claim. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider liking our page, leaving a review, or sharing it with friends and family. Please subscribe to this podcast. That way, you're going to get notified every time a new episode comes out. Please tune in next week for another insightful episode of Winning Isn't Easy. Thanks.